Alright, so let's talk about when Faustus decides, yes, let's make the deal, where do I sign? There's a really symbolic, and it's pretty clear to most readers that the symbolism's pretty transparent, but it's still neat. There's a very symbolic conflict between Faustus's mind and his body, because the condition of the signature is Faustus has to sign in blood. And so Faustus cuts himself, and the interesting thing is that his blood refuses to flow. And so Faustus even comments that it seems that even his body is fighting against his mind's decision to damn itself. This goes back to the classic human struggle of your mind tells you to do one thing, but your body tells you to either you can't or you won't, and a lot of times the body will win out. Even though we may tell ourselves in our mind, pump us up, yeah, you can do it. Sometimes the body just won't let you do it. And here we have the Faustus's body trying to stop itself and the blood from flowing, and it's almost like, well, the body figures out, okay, well, if you need my blood to sign the deal, I just won't bleed. Of course, Mephistopheles comes back and takes care of that. It's still an interesting scene where we see a conflict that Faustus continues to go through. It's not until much later that his mind wakes up to what his body knows even here. His body knows this is a bad deal, that 24 years of power is not worth an eternity of hell. But Faustus's brain doesn't catch up to that until it's way too late. In Paradise Lost, one of the ideas that we actually saw from Satan, Satan talks about how hell is not really a place. Hell is a state of mind. Hell is something you carry with you, and you have the power to make heaven of hell and hell of heaven. We see a similar idea here where Faustus is talking with Mephistopheles about the nature of hell, and Mephistopheles talks about how hell is, that he is currently in hell. And Faustus says, no, you're not, you're on earth, you're out of hell. So if hell is real and it's so easy to escape, since you're here and escaping it, it can't be that bad if you can get in and out of it. And Mephistopheles is a fallen angel. That means that he had been to heaven and was cast down. Mephistopheles tries to explain to Faustus that hell is anywhere that is not heaven. This is the idea that hell is a state of mind. Hell is the absence of God. And so Mephistopheles tries to communicate that with Faustus, but Faustus doesn't really seem to understand it. It may go back to where he's not willing to see it because it doesn't really go with what he already believes. There are a few comic relief scenes in here where we see a clown. Now keep in mind where it says clown, this wouldn't be like a honk honk clown with, the rubber feet and everything. This would be basically, it's part of the Elizabethan theater tradition of, you've got to keep in mind that the audience of these plays are going to be all kinds of people. You've got the high-class nobility, you've got the low-class rabble, aka the common person. But you've got them all together, and playwrights knew they had to try to entertain all. They had to entertain the literate with the illiterate. And so clown scenes where basically little comic vignettes in between some of the more major scenes, the heavier, when things got too heavy, it was a good time to throw in a clown scene. And we have one here that shows a little bit of bawdiness, and that's quite common. Clown scenes would have crude humor, sometimes sexual humor, sometimes scatological humor. Scatological humor would be like feces and pee, poop, fart jokes and things like that. It's nothing new. We love the humor even today still. I'm even guilty of it. This isn't anything new though. It goes way, way back to entertaining crowds, even in the 16th century. There is a lot of religious satire here, and you have to understand that this play would have been staged during Elizabeth's reign, And Elizabeth's reign brought Protestant belief into the forefront, and Protestant belief started to replace Catholic. There was kind of a Reformation. And we see here in the play a pretty severe criticism of Catholic religion. In a couple different ways. One way is when Mephistopheles first appears, he appears as a dragon. And Faustus sends him away and says, no, you need to appear in a more pleasing form, a more suitable form to evil. You need to appear as a friar. And a friar would be basically a religious servant of Catholicism. But this would be a couple different interpretations of this. One interpretation, it goes back to that scary nature of evil that can appear good. That's disturbing. I would rather have a demon with sharp, pointy teeth, so I know to stay the hell away from it. If it's a demon and it's scary looking and it has horns, then I'm not going to go near it. I'm not going to trust whatever it says. The truly, to me, disturbing nature of evil is what happens when it looks, it can put on a mask of goodness, as we see here. But this would also be kind of a criticism of the corruption of the Catholic Church, that people would be, it would be a fresh debate. Catholic belief is corrupt, the Church is corrupt, so it would be kind of promoting more of the Protestant beliefs. There's also the scene that Mephistopheles and Faustus go visit the Pope and one of the cardinals and kind of play tricks on him. Faustus is invisible, and this would be basically, it's kind of another clown scene where this is the audience's ability to laugh at religious figures that very short time ago would have been people you wouldn't really want to laugh at. This is the way of laughing at the old boss, because the old boss has been kicked out, fired, and replaced by a new boss. So the clown scene here, it's a way for Faustus's audience to kind of gain support for Protestant movement, and also kind of laugh off Catholic belief. Let's see. One of the ideas that we find in here fits very well with one thing we've been talking about, that is the danger of books, that books are dangerous. There's a part here where Faustus even says, Faustus meets up with a few of his scholar friends later on in the play. The clock has nearly struck. He's almost out of time. And he talks to his scholar friends and he says, oh, would I never read a book? Basically, he blames his fall to damnation on the book that he found that opened his mind to the power of necromancy. And he seems to suggest that it's not really his fault, which it is, but he suggests that it's not really his fault, it's the book's fault, that the book tempted him, it exposed him to the evil that he's now bound to. The last video that we'll look at, there's just a couple more points I want to talk about, specifically about the knowledge that Faustus receives from his pact and what he does with the knowledge and power that he receives.